Nonverbal communication and its impact on our relationships. Nonverbal communication and thesis. Nonverbal communication itself is the process of sending and receiving messages without using words. This can be done through many different tactics of body language, such as shrugging our shoulders, flashing a simple smile, and also in the way we interact with each other without using words, such as a simple handshake or maybe even a hug. My thesis explaining its importance to the topic. Nonverbal communication, expressed through gestures, facial expressions, posture, and eye contact, is essential to building relationships because it conveys our thoughts and emotions more accurately than words, strengthens trust and connection, and helps to prevent misunderstandings. I would also like to take time to further on to why I chose to write about this. I chose this topic because, as someone who really wants to understand the way that our interactions develop our relationships, I really found that nonverbal communication was a great point to focus from, because nonverbal communication is something that is existent in all parts of our lives. No matter what we say or do, we will always have an emotion or an expression on our face, a look or a gesture to define how we really truly feel about a topic. And that's why I chose to explore this lens further in my final project essay. On this slide, we're exploring evidence 1. The point of evidence 1 mostly examined how nonverbal communication can lead to deeper understanding in relationships and strengthen bonds within those relationships. To start, the connections I built from this, or my thoughts on this, were this connects to the overall idea of my paper because it reveals how, through understanding each other without words, we can connect deeper, building stronger relationships altogether. This meaning that through those simple gestures mentioned before, when defining what nonverbal communication was in itself, we can begin to truly see how each other really feel about things, which can enhance the way that we understand each other, building a stronger, deeper connection more and more as that relationship progresses. Exploring evidence 2. This point in my writing examines the scientific outlook of how nonverbal communication can connect us and build stronger relationships through looking at the 10-part model of nonverbal communication. The connections built and my thoughts. This point connects to the main idea because it reveals how those gestures we see every day are actually working to connect us. It is also in this article that we can see much correlation to the work-life balance expressed in the thesis, because it reveals how through going through these 10 steps, we are able to avoid many conflicts and also avoid many misunderstandings within each other. As well as it also plays into the background scene in my writing as well, because it expresses how through this 10-part model, it really defines and expresses what nonverbal communication is and should mean to us today. Exploring evidence 3. This point examines the complexity of nonverbal communication and its many factors that allow us to create strong relationships and bonds. Connections built and my thoughts. This point in my writing connects to the overall main idea because it allows a deep analysis of nonverbal communication, as well as providing the point in which we can begin to see it build connections. Finally, exploring evidence 4. This point examines the importance of nonverbal communication, and having an understanding of it is extremely important to avoiding miscommunications and unnecessary conflict. My thoughts. This evidence connects to the overall idea because it uses of research studies on interns and their knowledge of nonverbal communication in the workplace, and how training to improve these lowered the chance of miscommunication and conflict. To continue on this point, throughout reading this article, I was really intrigued by the research study done on many students or student interns coming in from a college program into a new, high-paced corporate work experience, and how after doing the seminar to learn better about nonverbal communication, their abilities to communicate within the workplace and express their thoughts and ideas without miscommunication or conflicts with conflicting views allowed them to become more persuasive and overall better at expressing how they truly felt and establishing a path of which to take with figuring out problems in the workplace. Finally, we come to my references. On this slide, you'll notice that I stated all of my references and all of the passages that I used or talked about in this presentation, as well as links to find them, and they are all MLA cited and ready to be used and clicked on and read. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it.